All right, I'm recording, and well, hopefully everybody else will come in.
I gotta go on mute.
He wanted to be part of it. He's going to be the other 3 people that didn't come. Look, there's my record thing. Woo, I did it. Yes. I'm like 10 for 10 or 12 for 12, or I don't know. How many have I done of these? I feel like a lot. I feel like a real lot. I don't know. I think Kirsten and Emily, you've been to all of them. So however many hours you have is however many I've done. So this is actually the first time I've done this workshop. Not the first time I've talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for sure. It's been about 1 million times I've talked about it. But it's the first time that I've actually just done Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I've done it, and I decided to do it because, first of all, I use it in a lot of workshops. And I have to rush through it because it's only part of the workshop. And it is so important in choosing love and not choosing fear. I shared a post today about choosing love, and right, the research behind all these strategies, right, there's research about sticker charts, and I was going through my Instagram, and I looked at, I have a hard time following people who are in behavior, actually, even though I'm in behavior, because they usually take a much different look at behavior, and a lot of the strategies they use are fear-based, but then they twist them and they use love-based language for the fear-based strategy. And I'm like, oh no, I see you. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm a little addicted to, right, I'm trying to monetize my Instagram, so I'm seeing how well it's doing. So I was looking at it, and I apparently followed this person, and it was something about, it was a meme from the guy from North Korea, and he had this face, like really like stone. Well, I mean, I don't think he smiles, but stone face. And she said, and the meme was, "This is what my face looks like during planned ignoring." And I was like, oh, first of all, terrible strategy. Second of all, it's not funny. Third of all, I just shared something on planned ignoring yesterday, so I was like, oh, did they know? And they wanted to get me mad, but I'd like had butterflies in my stomach. I felt sick. I was like, oh, and I'm not kidding. I typed like four or 5 different things. And then I was like, erase. Because what I wanted to say was the things I just told you. And then what's going to happen? She's followed by all the other people who use that strategy. And then I'm going to cause this war. And then I'm going to be all day in that. So only in my adult life am I able to delete and put my phone down. If I was a kid with a cell phone, oh my gosh, first that is, right, if I was a 16-year-old with a cell phone, I'd be in a lot of trouble all the time because I'm just so impulsive. So I put my phone down, and I was like, but I have to do something. I have to do something to make myself feel better. I'm going to see if I can find my post right now. So it says, I think researchers should start asking kids how they feel about planned ignoring, sticker charts, reward systems, clip-down systems, and other fear-based strategies, and include that in their research. It can't be just about data. It has to be about emotional wellness, self-esteem, and avoiding shame, guilt, and embarrassment. That's what I said, and I'm like, and I wanted to like tag the girl in it, but I don't even. Then I unfriended her. I unfollowed her, whatever it is. On Instagram, I unfollowed her, and I was like, I can't. So I think you've all been at my love and fear one, right? That I always pick strategies in love, and then people are like, okay, so what do I do in this situation? Okay, it's not, you don't leave Pinterest and then go back to Pinterest for a love-based strategy. It's a lot of teaching a skill and meeting a need, right? 98% of the time, a challenging behavior is a lack of skill or an unmet need. And we just have to do that, which means it is challenging. It means that we have to, right, use time and patience. It's not just I had someone say today, I know all the kids in my class in New Mexico are below the poverty line, but there are 3 who they don't teach respect at home, they don't teach responsibility at home, they don't, all this stuff. And I was like, and so she was like, then what do I do with them? And I think it was, she wanted me to say, oh, then you can use planned ignoring. That's when you can do it. When the kids are having a really hard time at home and they don't have proper guidance, then you can do it. You can't do it ever. If the kids are hard, if the kids are, I hate this word, I'm putting it in quotes. If the kids are naughty, if the kids come from a great background, if the kids come from a hard background, if there's trauma or not trauma, it's never a thing. But some people are like, well, I don't like the kid, or the kid is hard, or, but he trashes my classroom, and you still can't use fear, ever. And people say, well, a lot of people don't even look at love and fear strategies that way until I break it down that way, right? They don't even know that. They just think strategies are strategies. And then there are good ones and bad ones. Well, the good ones are in love and the bad ones are in fear. But if the end result is shame, guilt, and embarrassment, then it's a strategy out of fear and you can't do it. And you have to know your kids well, because for some kids, the strategy's good. So I had a mom one time ask me, a teacher one time asked me, there's a little girl in my class who has a lot of anxiety and is pretty dominant and stubborn and has accidents and wets her pants. Okay, she's like, what should I do? Okay, so if she's stubborn and dominant, that is a different strategy than if she has an accident due to anxiety. So you have to know the kid, what one is it? She goes, I think it's probably anxiety. And I said, then you got to work through the anxiety with her. That's going to take a lot of time. She's probably going to be an adult who has anxiety. If it's stubborn, then she has to change herself. You have to be firm and neutral. You have to draw the line in the sand. But the things that would work for the dominant kid puts the anxious kid way over the top, and we look mean and cruel, and it's a strategy in fear. For the kid who is dominant, it's a strategy in love. That's their toolbox, and that's what we're going to pick. So people are like, well, people try to fight me all the time. I get in trouble, can you imagine, on Facebook and Instagram and social media and in person because I choose love. People come up to me and they'll be like, you know what, sticker charts work. Yeah, at what cost do they work? They don't. Has anybody had a sticker chart that worked? I had one sticker chart that worked, but I cheated because the girl who was 15 wanted to do the sticker chart. So we had participation instead of manipulation, right? Sticker charts are manipulation. So we had participation. She goes, I'll work for puffy stickers. Really? I'm at AC Moore picking all the puffy stickers, putting them in the cart, like stupid stickers. I hate these stickers. And I'm like, and usually I buy that stuff on my own because it's a weird thing to charge to the district. And I was like, no, I'm charging it to the district because I am not paying money for these puffy stickers because they are going on a chart. She was successful with them because it was her idea. She did the whole thing. She made these pigs with big bellies, and on the big bellies they had they had pennies with sparkles and glitter, and it was great. But it was all her. It wasn't me trying to manipulate her, trying to monopolize, trying to have all the power. So people say, how do we, right? They try to talk me into fear-based strategies or talk me out of my love-based strategies, and people get mad at me. There's a lot of caps in responses to me and a lot of exclamation points. And what I always say is this: I'm not sure I understand why you're so mad. Are you mad because I chose love? Are you mad because I chose a child's emotional wellness over my own power? And then you know what happens to them? I don't hear from men anymore. It's so weird. They just go away. And I'm like, because they feel ridiculous and they look ridiculous. But it takes a lot of work. We all know teaching's not easy. Is it easy? Oh gosh, no. No. Being a behavior consultant is not easy because I only get the hard kids. They're not all hard for me, but they're all hard for somebody. So I usually am working with kids who are hard, not necessarily for me, but for the adult, and then I have to work with the adult too. So I was trying to think of a way back when I started saying choose love, right? That, how do I explain it so people understand? How do I prove that it's the right way to do it, right? I guess a lot of people say there's no right and wrong way. I disagree with behavior. There's a right and a wrong way, because the wrong way makes you feel terrible. Have anybody ever told you to do a strategy that makes you like kind of throw up in your mouth a little bit, and you're right, and your stomach's like, ooh, but they're the people who are supposed to help us. I get it for teachers all the time, but the administration or the behavior person says, what administration? The principal. Oh, how many classes does he have in behavior? You know how many he has? The same class you took. Yeah, or zero. I like that, Kirsten. 0. And then he's telling you, right, and I'm always talking people out of, well, ask the director, ask the principal. Say, ooh, that's a strategy in love. I'm not willing to try that. Do you have another one in, that's a strategy in fear. I'm not willing to try that. I need a strategy in love. First of all, they won't know what you're talking about. You were like, I am keeping a child's emotional wellness intact at all costs. So I kept thinking, how do I explain it so there's a thing people can say and do. So when you're like, you know what, we have to choose love, and people will look at you like this. No, do the sticker chart, do the whatever, do the clip down system, do the whole class. What's the whole class behavior management system? There isn't one. It's teach skills and meet needs and use time and patience. That's the whole class one. Except now you have to fill each kid's toolbox with different tools. So you have to know the pattern of human behavior. You have to know, right, all the things that are important. It's not fun, fast, and easy. So I thought, what can somebody do and say so we can really get a point across? So it's not just us saying, choose love, because when we say that, I get it all the time. Well, you're just like a Pollyanna. Okay. I mean, I could be worse. I could be Oscar the Grouch, right? Because I want to be like, well, I think you're Oscar the Grouch. But that's mean, and you're not probably supposed to say that. But I've been called, oh, you just care. They made Care Bear a verb. You Care Beared it all over the place. Oh. And me, because I'm annoying like that, I'm like, oh, thank you. And they're like, nah. And I think they want to say it wasn't a compliment. But when we choose love and we use these strategies that keep a child's emotional wellness intact, we get people think we're weak or soft or squishy, or we just don't do what we need to do. We need to be tough and show these kids. I promise you that's not the way. I promise you, I can't think, there's like 3 kids that I've worked with ever that have been really excruciatingly hard for me. Otherwise, the thousands I've worked with, I figured out. 3, and it was a temperament thing with those 3. It was just so hard. Right, I was in the bathroom once at a house, going to the bathroom, because I drove to Waltham. And the 9-year-old boy I was supposed to work with came in to the bathroom while I was going to the bathroom. And then he stole the Pokemon cards that I bought with my own money to try to form a relationship with him, and ran around the house and said, I'm not giving them back. I don't want to go back to your house. I did, but I didn't want to. And you wouldn't have known that he was hard for me because I'm really good at faking it, but I was like, ugh. The mom said, could you come back? And I was like, ooh, explosive diarrhea. Oh, Emily, we got it in. My dog keeps coming closer. I see him. I hope my husband gets home soon. Maybe I should text him and be like, Dozy has to go outside. I can't let him out. And he's going to pee on the carpet. I don't know. Don't pee on the carpet. He's looking at me with his tail wagging like, what? Okay. Oh boy. So I chose to use Maslow's hierarchy of needs to get us where we need to go, to get us to have this conversation with people, because it is hugely, hugely important. Well, I'm going to text my husband. I know we're being recorded and this is weird, but are you on your way home? Dozer has to go out. Let's see what happens. And I am working. Focus, everyone. Working. Oh, well. Working doesn't have a V in it, but I put a V in it. Right? And at the end of the sentence, working the. I'm working the. I know, Daddy's coming home. I know, but. So we start, right, with Maslow's hierarchy of needs way at the bottom, right? And those first, oh, wait, just kidding. Those first 4 purple, blue periwinkle needs. I don't know what color that is. Periwinkle? I think it matches to me, it matches Emily's shirt, actually. I don't know if it does in real life, but on my screen it does. And we have to look at those are authentic needs, right? So those first 4 are authentic needs. They have to happen, because we're human. When I say teach a skill, meet a needs, there they are. People are like, what needs do we have to teach or meet? There they are, right there. Those 4 periwinkle ones. That's what you have to teach. That's what you have to meet. And every kid has them at a different intensity and at a different level and all that. So we have to have those met. Without them met, we can't reach self-transcendence. And doesn't everybody want to go there? I couldn't find one that stopped at self-actualization. So I don't know much about, I mean, it says self-transcendence is helping others in spiritual experience. But I usually stop at self-actualization because that's usually the top of the pyramid I use. But I wanted it to be cooler than and in color, so I went through like 45,000 things on Google, and then my squirrels were just like, that one's good, and I just picked it because I couldn't look anymore. I was like, I think they get the hint. So we need these first 4. And without them, right, they're authentic because we're human, but without them, we're in a deficit. And as you go through them, kids will come up for you. Humans will come up for you like, oh, that kid's in a deficit with this need, or that kid's in a deficit with this need, right? And a lot of people say you need to Maslow before you bloom, right? You need to do those first 4 deficit needs before you, a lot of people skip to cognitive needs. You can't skip there. So let's see, let's make sure I got them all. Yep. They have to be met before moving on. And right, kids with trauma, those 4 are really out of whack for kids with trauma. Yet we're trying to teach kids with trauma at 5 to read. They're not at reading. They're like at basic needs. They're number 1. I had a kid who was had physiological needs, right? It's eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, all that stuff. There's a little boy who had trauma in his background, and one of his basic needs was eating, and he didn't get enough food. He was a big dude, and he didn't eat enough. So they got little coffee filters. Have you ever seen coffee filters in schools be used as bowls? They were. Yeah, I know. So they were used as bowls, and they had Cheerios in them. So if you've ever seen a 4- and 5-year-old try to put Cheerios in their mouth from a coffee filter, it looks like some in your mouth and most on the floor. So when they were on the floor, he went like this and slunk down under the table and was eating off the floor. He was eating the Cheerios off the floor. And then he learned if he waited for someone to clean up snack and sweep it all together, he wouldn't have to crawl all over the floor. He could just eat it from the pile. And they were like, he's really hard. He is currently under the table eating dirty Cheerios. And I said, you have to give him seconds and thirds. We don't do seconds and thirds. You do now. I can't help him. I can't help with the other needs. If he's so hungry, he's eating off the floor. Well, he's a big kid, and if they probably feed him too much at home, but it doesn't matter. So they gave me a hard time, but they gave him seconds, and then I brought in Cheerios for the school, and I was like, these are for him. I don't get, they could be for everybody. Give him seconds. Because the seconds were like 10 Cheerios. First of all, they only got like 20 Cheerios to begin with. And then seconds was like 10 Cheerios, and I was like, and he was still under the table. I just had a really hard time with it. And, right, and they wanted like me to make miracles happen. Okay, I'll make miracles happen if you give him Cheerios. You have to give him Cheerios. You have to give him food. But they fought me on it. So, and know that eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom, if you've been here before, you know those are the ones that kids enter power struggles into. We can't make kids eat, sleep, or go to the bathroom. Ever. It doesn't matter how bad you need. Like right now, I'm trying to keep the pee in my dog. But I can't make him do that. I mean, don't look at him, because when I look at him, he does this like, is it now? And then the tail starts to go. Oh, I think my husband, what does he say? Getting prescription at Rite Aid now. Oh, good. Okay, he's coming. The seizure medicine for my dog. Could he be more high maintenance? Holy moly. I was in a workshop yesterday, and I heard loud noises downstairs, and I thought he was having a seizure. And I was like, what am I going to do? I'm the only one here. That means I have to send my 7-year-old downstairs to be with my dog for a seizure. And I was like, oh my gosh. They said, hey, bud, go check on Locker. Dozer. So we went downstairs and he was fine. And I was like hyperventilating, like sweating through my clothes. Like, man. So kids try to take all the power, and they can, because they're in total control of eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom. So first of all, we have to share power. With that, we have to put our brain, right? I got a mom today that said, what do I do? I know you're going to tell me that I can't control this, but what do I do about my daughter who's 2, who had a bad bowel movement one time, and now she's so scared to have another one, she holds it in and walks around and cries because it hurts to hold it in. And I was like, you got to give her enough chances and experiences and rub her back and hold her hands and sing to her on the potty till she realizes it was one time. How long does that take? A long time, because she's 2. And she's like, okay, well, I know we can't. Is there anything else? I don't know. I never know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know how you go to the bathroom. Like, I said, well, what's going to help is if you put your brain in, I can't make her do it. So she goes, we just not force feed her, but give her all sorts of fruits and vegetables so the poop comes out easier, so it doesn't hurt. But then it comes like really fast and furious for a 2-year-old who's potty training, to try to figure out, like, is it I already went in my pants, right? Because anybody know Jim Gaffigan, the comedian?
Yes.
He's awesome. He said, you know how a 3-year-old doesn't tell you they have to go to the bathroom? A 3-year-old tells you they're about to go to the bathroom. Like, I have to go to the bathroom, and then they go, right? It's not like, let's go to the potty. They're like started to go as they said it. And so I think that this poor little girl's having the same thing. They're like, we just keep feeding her watermelon. So the poor thing is like, more explosive diarrhea.
See? 2.
Two. I'm trying to talk about explosive diarrhea in every workshop I do. I think I've gotten everyone. I might have to go back and listen. Maybe at the beginning I didn't, because I was nervous that people were going to be offended. I've done so many of these now, I don't care anymore. I feel like you guys keep coming back. If I'm going to offend one person, I'm like, you know what? I have people that have come back every single time, so whatever.
Week 5, right?
Right. Along, what is it? Oh, my thing. I'm trying to read this, but you're in the middle of them. All right, so, authentic needs from physiological. Focus, girls, focus. Okay. So we end up losing if we put all our power and we try to get all the power. But when I go to childcare centers or with kids that are really young, eating, sleeping, going to bed, nap time, do you want to see a teacher of young children's head explode? Nap time, when kids won't sleep, right? And they want them to sleep so they could look on their phone and do curriculum and have a break. And I was like, so I'm like, okay, you can't make them sleep. Kids with trauma won't sleep because it brings up a whole bunch of memories, and it's hard when they relax their bodies. And so you have to put your brain in, this is not my break time. This is not a time that I get to get curriculum done. If your brain is there, you're not going to meet this need. Some kids don't need to sleep. Some kids give up naps at 2, which really stinks. But you gotta put your brain in a different place. I'm sorry that it stinks, but you can't make a kid sleep. And you're only gonna be so angry, but they have to nap. Then they get tired at 5, and that energy's not helping. So I'm always like, switch your brain off to entering a power struggle with these kids. We just can't, because we're gonna lose. And if you're competitive like me, it's not fun to lose. Right? You want to hear my best potty story ever? It's so good. It was about explosive diarrhea, by the way. So my son, who is 7 now, when he was potty training at 3, he just wore a shirt and shorts. He didn't wear underwear because he couldn't figure out how to get the shorts and the underwear down and hold them down and pee without letting go of one on accident and flipping his penis up and peeing on himself. So we just took out one of the things. So we took out the underwear. So, awesome, right? So we are at a yard sale. Of course we are, because I'm always at a yard sale. Not this summer, but other summers I'm at a yard sale. And I said to him, he said to me, Mommy, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, we're in the middle of the historic district in Portsmouth at a yard sale that's pretty awesome. And he decided he had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, dude, well, we have to leave the yard sale and get in the car and go find a place to go to the bathroom. Well, someone overheard me. And because I'm a mom and a woman, probably, if my husband was there, I'm sure they wouldn't have offered him this. She said I could go in her bathroom. Awesome. It's like the house is from like 1802. It's gorgeous. We go in the bathroom. He sits on the potty. He goes, I don't know, Mommy, my poop went back up in my belly. I don't even have to go anymore. And I'm like, buddy. So we're singing. So when he needed to relax his body, I used to tell him the story of Peter Rabbit. So we tried that. I'm like, if the lady is sitting outside the door right now, I'm talking about Peter Rabbit. And he's like, Mommy, I don't have to go. And then he's like, I don't have to go. So I was trying to take don't enter a power struggle. You can't make the poop come out. Just pull up the pants and go back to the yard sale. So then I see him trying to hold his butt cheeks together at the yard sale. And he's like, Mommy, I gotta poop. And I'm like, so I asked the lady again. We go in. I pull down his pants and I put him on the potty. He has already pooped in his pants. I did not know that. So not only were they all over his pants, but when I lifted him up on the potty, I did it with one arm and I smeared all the poop on her body. Now what am I going to do? First of all, he can't wear the pants out because they are full of poop. Second of all, I was like, please, God, if there's a God, if you believe in God, please, 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 right? We always believe in him when it's best for us, right? Please, please, please have wipes. So there's wipes on the back of the toilet. And I was like, yes! So I leave like 3 wipes left. I don't know if they're flushable, but I'm not putting them in the trash or taking them with me, so I flushed them. And I'm sure they're not flushable in a historic house in Portsmouth. So I'm wiping him up. I'm so mad. Wiping up. I flush him down the toilet. Then I'm like, now I have to carry him out with no pants on. With like, all the poop wasn't all the way gone because I had to leave some, right, wipes. I have poop all over my arm from carrying him like this. And I'm like, okay, God, I know I asked for wipes and you did a wonderful job. Can you just one more wish? When we go outside, can she not be standing outside the door? So she wasn't. I don't know where she was. And I went, thank you. And we ran outside. I'm running to the car. I put him in the car and he goes, Mommy, I don't have any pants on. I said, I know. It's because you pooped in them. And so then it's all over his car seat. He's like, Mommy, my car seat smells bad. Yeah, I know. But then I have to go back to the yard sale. So now I'm leaving the 3-year-old in the car with no pants on and a poop butt. And I have to go back to the yard sale because I made a pile and you can't just leave a yard sale without paying for the pile. I get home and I go to my husband. I was like, you need to clean the seat and you need to take your son. And I am going into our room and I am closing the door with vodka. That is what I am doing. And he was like, okay. That's my best poop story. And my son still remembers it. Mommy, remember when we went, every time we go to Portsmouth, he goes, Mommy, remember when we went to Portsmouth at the yard sale? Remember? And I pooped all over that toilet. Yes, I remember. Can we not talk about it? I think I handled it very well. I did not. Okay, moving on. Oh, my dog. Oh, gosh. I hope he doesn't pee on the carpet. He might. Hey, I can't do anything about it. It'll be, Emily, are you crying? I think Emily's crying. Don't pee in your pants. I'm not coming to clean it up. Okay.
I can just imagine it because I have 2 sons.
Right? And it just like,
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And then he peed on the toilet too. He peed all over the toilet too because he didn't push his penis far enough down between his legs. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was so
I
crazy.
gotta stop.
It was like, all right, now this is the part, I know we got a little sidetracked with my poop story, but it is a really good story. This is why we choose love and not fear. Okay, well, what we're really supposed to be talking about, kids. Whoever buys this one, if they're like, oh, I love Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I need to learn all about it. Oh my gosh, imagine what they're going to talk about and listen to. It's going to be so great. So safety needs. We do a pretty good job with physical safety needs. We do all right. We don't hurt kids. We make sure that that's not happening. What we don't do when we talk about safety needs, we're not good at emotional safety needs at all. Andy, you need to come home now. Are you here? I know, Dozer. Daddy's the slowest person on earth. I don't know what to tell you. My husband is. I have a lot of squirrels. I married a duck who's like this. Brr. Like if he's going to Rite Aid to pick up a prescription, it's going to be like 75 minutes. He's going to be mad at me too. He'll be like, I am trying. And I was like, in my house, I have a slow son and a slow husband. I'm like, chop, chop, let's go. Oh my gosh. I'm like in the car waiting, like, blah, 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 blah. They're like putting on their coats and putting their socks and just combing their hair. And I got to just go to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes me crazy. We do not do a very, okay, focus. We do not do a very good job with emotional wellness. And the reason I know that is because there are all these fear-based strategies that no matter how loud I yell about them and talk about them, what happens? They're still happening. Fear-based strategies are still happening, but it is emotional safety that we have to watch. We have to watch emotional safety. So I always use this example. It's a little dated now, but it's still relevant because everybody knows about it. The Boston Marathon bombing, right? When the Boston Marathon bombing happened, we had people who were physically injured, yes. That was 6 years ago now? 5 years ago now? I mean, it just would have been like last Monday or 2 Mondays ago, right? 7! Oh, geez. 7 years ago. So 7 years later, what's happening? People are healed, right? There were some people who needed prosthetics. There were some people who had all these injuries, and they're healed physically now, right? Physically, they're healed. How are they doing emotionally? How do you think they're doing emotionally? Not good, right? When do you think they'll be better? You think it's going to be soon? It's been 7 years. Get it together. Think it's ever going to be better? No. They probably can't go to fireworks shows. They probably can't go to large group gatherings. They probably can't go to any road races or participate in road races or anything where there's loud noises. They're having a really hard time. A really hard time. And we can't forget about emotional safety, yet we do all the time. We forget about emotional safety all the time, which is why right, when we say safety needs, people think physical. That's great. We've done physical. We need to make sure we're paying attention to emotional needs of kids. It can't ever, our strategies can't ever end up in shame, guilt, and embarrassment, because what are you messing up? Emotional safety needs. So where do kids get stuck then? At what tier? 2. They get stuck at tier 2. Yet you want them, and it is natural in humans to want to learn and be curious, and we want them to be that way, but can they? No, because they're stuck on tier 2, right? And there are some kids that are stuck on tier 2 because they might get hurt at home, right? They do get hurt at home. On our way. That's what my husband just said. Let's go. Chop, chop. Dog's going to pee on the floor. I feel it. Bah! So we have to make sure that we are watching kids for physical safety and emotional safety, both. And it says emotional safety, and where it is on the hierarchy is the reason we choose love. I would not want to be responsible for stopping a kid on tier 2. Would you want to? Did we get in this field like, oh, yep, we're going to use some strategies to stunt some growth? We can't do that. We can't stunt growth. And growth won't happen if they don't get past tier 2, right? Then, if we mess up tier 2, they're not getting a tier 3. And tier 3 sometimes replaces tier 1. So love and belonging, it is the power of one. Everybody has to have one person who is caring, kind, and loving. One person who is caring, kind, and loving to be with them, to be in a relationship with them. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, you'll know why in a minute, because I am some kid's power of one. The girl I told you that did the sticker chart, I was her power of one. I saw her for a half hour to an hour on Wednesdays once a week. Do I want to be her power of one? No. Why? Because I leave. She could not wait. I asked her, I said, everybody's wondering, like, what's your favorite part of the week or the day, or like, so we can like recreate it and maybe use some of those things. She's like, Wednesdays. And I was like, oh, why Wednesdays? She goes, duh, because you're here. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I said, we do get along great. She was a girl that took the profile assessment, came out just like me. And she said to me, wait, if I'm just like you, does that mean I can also be successful? Yes, of course. And I said, did you not think you were going to be successful? And she said, no, I didn't feel like I was going to be successful. And now that I know that we're alike, I could be successful. And I was like, oh, right, that's so heartbreaking. So I think about that, and I told the teachers, and they said, did you find out like what her favorite? I said, yeah, Wednesday's her favorite. And they're like, why? I said, well, she said, because I'm here. And they were like, no, that's probably not it. No, yeah, you're right, it's not it. So they kept asking, like, what? I was like, so I can't work with her more, so you guys have to do what I'm doing. But they just wouldn't, right? They wouldn't teach the skills and meet the needs the way I was telling them to do it. She was 15, and touch was her love language. So she needed a lot of like high fives and hugs, which if you're a 15-year-old girl, male teacher shouldn't hug you, but you could still high five. You could still, like tap them on the shoulder, tousle her hair. You could still do all that stuff. You could still do like shoulder bumps. You could still do fists, but they wouldn't do any of it because they didn't. We don't touch in this school. Okay, well, that's weird because you have to. You missed all the kids now that have that as a love language. So we need a power of one. Belonging is an essential human need. It is, for sure. Many put their basic needs second to love and belonging. So we usually put it right before physiological needs. Which means what? And I always use my college story as an example because it's funny. That if I went out to a bar in college and I like found my peeps and there was a hot guy and it was like, yeah, but I had a track meet the next day, or I had class the next day, or I had to get up to go to work the next day. Am I putting right? Sleep is in my physiological need. Do I go home to sleep or do I stay out? Which one do you think? Oh, for sure I stay out. Because I belong here. This is my space. These are my peeps, and I'm staying out. I care about sleep and eating. Who cares? But now think of that in a way that the child is, right, we're using fear-based strategies. So now kids are like, don't play with that kid. He's always on red, or he's always clipped down to teacher consequence, or he's always on orange, right? The red, yellow, and orange are those clip down ones. So he's always there, so we're not going to play with him. How does that do with love and belonging? Have you seen kids that other kids are upset with and don't play with? It's usually because we've put them in a bad kid bubble by using these whole classroom strategies. And we can't do that. We can't do that. Well, it says, what if the child knows they are liked and loved in the classroom? Yes, they have to know that, hey, we're here for you, even when you make a mistake, even when you throw chairs, even when you do any of that stuff, I'm here for you. I'm going to be here for you all the time, even when it's hard, which means you have to be a member of the Clean Slate Club, which means, right, you know how many times I've gone into those clip-down system classrooms and you're supposed to start on Ready to Learn? Yes, every time. And what happens? I go in, they're like, oh, I forgot to put them all back on Ready to Learn. So Sophia comes in. Go ahead, Jose. Go ahead. She's finally home. Sophia comes in the classroom and sees hers on parent contact from yesterday. How does that start your day? Right? And they were like, oh, I forgot to do that. Well, you know what? First of all, you're using a stupid system. Second of all, you cannot forget to do that. Because where's Sophia now? All day she's stuck on the second tier. She can't get to the third tier, and if some way she made it past the second tier of emotional safety because she could do good self-talk or she felt good about it, you're still at love and she's going to stay at love and belonging, right? And sometimes kids, that's up, and then teachers forget to use it. So the poor kids are like stuck where they're stuck whenever the teacher forgot to use it, and they're just stuck in space. They're stuck on teacher consequence or parent contact. They're stuck on those. And I'm like, oh, I'm sassy about those things. I'm not going to lie. If I see them in a classroom, especially early childhood classrooms, I take them off the wall and I fold them up. And I go to the principal or the director and I say, it's a no. This is a fear-based strategy and there's shame, guilt, and embarrassment. And if I'm going to work here, this can't happen. And they're like, okay. And I was like, I can tell you what to do, but this is what not to do. And they're like, but you can't, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I'll talk to the teacher about it. No, you're not. I'm going to take it off the wall. And if you could show me research that supports that that's good and keeps a child moving through their authentic needs, awesome. There isn't any research of any sort that talks about emotional wellness. Never. It doesn't exist. But people will try to, they are really good at using love-based words to kind of cover up the fear in those, which is, I am working at a school district, but one of the schools in the school district that I don't work at is using this big fear-based strategy. And one of the paras and teachers sent me the letter that they're sending home to parents. The parents aren't going to know. The parents are not going to know that it's a fear-based strategy because they made it sound very pretty. Crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then when all the kids are having a hard time, they're not going to be able to figure out why. Well, I can tell you why. Right? Love and belonging, it also goes as far as, which we think is a love-based strategy. You get some sort of certificate and then you get to go up in front of the school and accept it. How many people want to throw up to think that that would be you? I work with a little boy. Well, he's not little. He would be mad if I told you he was little. He's actually a big dude. And he's going into 7th grade. So he's 12-ish. So he's 12-ish. And he gets student of the week, and the teacher always says, oh, are you going to tell Miss Meg? First of all, I don't like to be called Miss Meg, but you're going to tell Miss Meg about what you got in your backpack? We're going down the stairs. I said, did you get student of the week again? He's like, yes. And he goes, oh, I just hate going up in front of the class. I don't want to go up in front of the class. He hates the strategy. And the only reason he gets it is because his mom is proud of him. I wish the principal just called the mom and say, you know what? He's doing awesome. He doesn't need a piece of paper. So he's like, you're going to show Miss Meg what's in your backpack? He always goes, no. And the teacher doesn't understand and is like, what? He goes, every Wednesday when these go out, I always think, oh my gosh, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me. And then when I get picked, everybody claps and then I have to go. It's so not him. Me? If you pick me, I'd be like, whoa! I'd probably have a cape and I'd pull out some sort of tiara out of my backpack and I'd skip up to the front of the room and I'd have an acceptance speech, I'd love it. But that's my temperament. But he feels like love and belonging is shaken there. And he's torn for the love and belonging to his house because it helps raise the love of his mom, who has lots of 5 kids, and it's a tough household. So he's thinking, if it makes my mom happy, I'll do it. But it keeps him stagnant, right, on tier 3, which is not good. He actually likes, I talked to him, I have to talk to him because I'm on his IEP. I talked to him and he goes, I love this staying home stuff. And I was like, you do? He's like, yeah, I have social anxiety. I don't really like people. So this is awesome. I just close my door and do all my hobbies. And I was like, great. So now I really have to work with him come September. If we go back to school, that's going to be a disaster. And he's going to leave the teacher he loves, the friends he loves, and he's going to a totally different school. That's going to be, we're going to talk about that in next week's class called, I don't know, what did I call it? What do we do when we go back to school? It took me a long time to think of that one, by the way. That title was, whew, I tell you. Self-esteem. So if we've figured out the first 3, if physiological needs are met, if safety needs are met, and love and belonging needs are met, self-esteem is awesome, right? It means they feel good about themselves. They could do self-talk. We self-talk. We talk to ourselves worse than we would talk to others, right? If I would never, if Emily, if you were having a hard time, I would never be like, Emily, get it together. You are really failing as a teacher, as a mother. You can't. You're not doing anything right. Your house is a mess. You're eating terribly. You're not exercising like you said you were. You're awful. I would never say that to you, Emily. Who says that to who, though? We say that to ourselves, right? Which makes us stay where? Self-esteem. We can't get out of it. We can't get out of self-esteem, and then we're back in love and belonging because we feel like we're doing a bad job and we don't deserve the love, and then our emotional needs are shaken, and then we're eating pints of Ben & Jerry's yogurt, which means now we're in physiological needs. Although anybody eat those when they were younger? I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't now, but I wasn't always, and I used to sit on the beach ball and eat a whole pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. The whole thing. Now I can eat like 3 spoonfuls, and I'm like, that's enough. Otherwise, what happens, Emily? Number 4, explosive diarrhea. Yes. I wonder if some people keep buying the workshops to see if I say it. I hope so. Maybe that should be like a contest. Right, I have a social media person. She's like, you should do a giveaway. And I was like, how do we get explosive diarrhea and a giveaway? I don't know. I'm going to figure it out, though.
We have to have a contest to guess how many times you're going to use it.
Yes! She'd be like that. She always says, that's so on brand for you when I'm like inappropriately funny. She's like, but that's on brand for you. And I was like, great. Glad I started with inappropriate humor so I could keep going with it. I don't have to. People in my field and behavior, I think many of you agree, are very dry and hard to talk to. Yes? People in behavior are like that. I don't know why. I don't know why they're like that. Probably because they do planned ignoring, and that can't make you feel good. So, what is it? Oh, self-esteem. What else did I write? Let's remind myself. Oh, my stories of squirrels and temperament. So, growing up, I was like this. I had a lot of track coaches. Almost every track coach I had and every soccer coach I had talked to me about drugs and alcohol, because they thought I couldn't possibly be the way I was without some sort of help from drugs and alcohol. My high school track coaches and everybody did. And my mom was like, why does everybody say that about you? And I was like, I don't know. But I have very good self-esteem because my mom was like, don't listen to them. Right? Her thing was, you're going to set the world on fire, Meg. You're going to go out there and you're going to do it. And you're not going to listen to them. And I was like, right. So she gave me, through my childhood, that armor to say, were you mad at, you're mad at me because I choose love? I don't think so, right? It's that fast, feisty, sassy part of me that my mom gave me. So my self-esteem is good. Could it without my mom and dad's support been bad? Yes. Because I was told, used to dress really crazy, like really crazy. If I showed you downstairs my glitter closet, I have a closet with just glitter clothes in it. Is that embarrassing? Yeah. Shirts, dresses, like obnoxious glitter. It's so awesome. And sparkles and iridescent stuff and shiny. Oh my gosh. But I used to wear it for like real life. So in college, when people were going to like a cocktail or they usually themed the cocktails like a 1970s cocktail, all the athletes would come to my door. Can I borrow some of your clothes for the cocktail? I was like, is it 70s? No, it's gangster rap. And I was like, okay. They would put stuff together in my closet that I wore for real life. And they would go to the cocktail or the costume party. Halloween. You know how many people for Halloween? I had to like write it down. I've lost some of my best things at Halloween. People who were too big to fit in my clothes or were too drunk to walk straight or right. So, but I wore them in real life. And so I got picked on a lot. And now when I get picked on for my clothes, I'm like, I didn't care then either. I do care when people think that I'm not a good person. That one still gets me. I like to be liked. So if you didn't like me because you thought I was a bad person, that would really bother me. So don't tell me that. Don't chat about it. Don't go to the chat and tell me. But my self-esteem is good. But how many people you see are stuck in self-esteem? I see adults stuck in self-esteem. I work with a lot of adults that have a hard time, right? I have a lot of adults that take my workshops and like, you know what? I'm going back to my school and I'm going to tell the principal all about you or the superintendent all about you. In Kirsten's school, it actually worked. Someone went back and it worked. I got a email and a phone call from the superintendent. And I was like, that never happens. Superintendent doesn't really care usually, right? Because it's like, I'm like 10 tiers down from that. And that one it worked because Andrea, right, Andrea? Is it Andrea that went, Kirsten? Yeah, I think her name's Andrea.
At my school?
Yeah. I don't know. She was a middle school teacher.
No, she's not. Andrea is not a middle school teacher at my building. Dan is my superintendent.
Yeah. Well, there was someone that was like me and went to Dan and said, you need to get her in here. But I get a lot of people who are stuck in self-esteem and they say, you need to get Meg in there. And the superintendent or principal or whoever is like, nope, we already have behavior. So then they're like, okay, because they have the temperament that just is like, oh, I don't like confrontation. So a lot of people tell me, I'm going to go and I'm going to tell my school. And I was like, okay, I won't hold my breath.
Oh, maybe Ange Valancourt. Because the first time you came to our school, you were up front of the class. It was in a classroom and you gave this basket to
yes, to her.
Yeah, Ange Valancourt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
She's the reason I'm there. She saw me. I don't know where she saw me, but she went to the superintendent and told him, and she was not stuck in self-esteem. She was in need to know and understand, like, okay, we need to get her in here. We're not doing things right, or we need help with stuff. And so, but a lot of times I see adults and kids stuck in self-esteem, and it's so tricky. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Because you can't get to.
She did.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm really glad she did. Would need to know and understand, right? That's the academic piece. As teachers, that's the piece we all want. That's the piece we all are like, yes, I can't wait to make curriculum and teach the kids this stuff. I'm really excited. But you can't if you got all your kids stuck in the first 4 tiers. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? There's a lot of teachers who use fear-based strategies, but they don't know. They're just trying to teach. So to teach, they have to use these strategies, they think. So need to know and understand is what all teachers want to achieve, right? But you got to get through the first 4 levels first. So in a lot of schools, in physiological, right, we meet physiological needs, and then the school skips safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, and goes right to, right, you can eat, sleep, and go to the bathroom. Now it's time to teach you some stuff. But as a early childhood professional, right, that's what I used to do. Social emotional growth is our game. But then we have 3-year-old parents who say, when is he going to learn to hold a pencil and write his name? Well, he's currently has explosive diarrhea 5 times, Emily, in his diaper. So we need to, let's work on potty training and making him feel good about himself. Potty training is when we get kids stuck in physiological needs and they're never going to get to self-esteem. We do really weird things with potty training. I don't know what books people have read, but you will eventually, you're not going to college peeing in your pants. There's a social aspect to that people care about. But they're 2 and they're not potty training. No, that's way too early. I know you don't want diapers. I get it. Switch your brain off. But I keep trying. I know, and now you feel mental and you lost your marbles. Just stop it. I don't know. Potty training is a really weird thing. We get kids stuck in a lot of those levels in potty training. So we have to make sure that we don't skip those 3 to get to need to know and understand, which means trauma kids will get to need to know and understand. It's going to take them longer, for sure, because they're at safety, right? They're probably in physiological and safety needs. I'm in love and belonging, right? Love and belonging with kids with trauma, if they have any sort of attachment stuff, they get stuck in love and belonging, for sure. I know it's time. Aesthetic needs, so that's the pursuit of beauty and creativity. It's a sense of wonder. It's my beach house, right? My sense of wonder and beauty and creativity comes from the beach. So out that window, you can see the ocean. Then you can see a little bit of my TV. That's where the other house is in front of us. And then there's another window on the other side. So you can see the beach in both windows. My husband built the house. He built houses, designed the house and did it that way on purpose because of aesthetic needs. It's art, travel, nature. It's all that stuff. Once you, right, when you feel brave enough to like break out and go. And then there's self-actualization, which is, you can read it, but it's, I always joke like, oh yeah, self-actualization, you know who gets there? Buddha and Mother Teresa, they're up there. Jesus, he's probably up there. The rest of us, it's hard because there's so many, I don't think anybody's reaching self-actualization now. I think we're all stuck in the first 4 authentic needs, trying to swim out of it. Swim upstream, just keep swimming, right? We're all Dory, trying to find Nemo. Yeah. So we can read that, but it's really like, what do you want to do in your life? How are you going to get there? And I'm going to do it. So I have a lot of people that I hear in my field that are like, oh, I'm thinking of doing some Zoom. I'm really getting brave about it. And I was like, I'm like 5 weeks into Zoom or 4 weeks into Zoom. Like, come on. But people don't go at that rate. But my self-actualization is I want to change the way people work with children and behavior. So I have to keep pushing. Is it comfortable for me to always push? No. Because then people don't like me. Remember, I just said I like to be liked. So I have to keep going. So I have to write realization and fulfillment of one's talents, potential, and missions. And when I started this, I'm like, I'm not falling off my pedestal. I'm staying on, and I have to get there. So self-actualization, I feel like I'm getting there. I don't know when you like, and self-transcendence, I think, is when you have all the stickers on your sticker chart, and you get the iPad time. No, I'm just kidding. But when people say they're using fear-based strategy, what are you going to do? We can't use that. That's going to get us stuck on the 2nd level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we can't upset emotional wellness of kids. Right? That's what we could say. And if someone says, I don't understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs, then you say, you need to get it together. Because everybody should know about, what?
They need to go back to college.
I know. I know.
Long time ago.
But I think
Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just like everything else, like all the theorists, all the good, not that the theorists is good information, but all the good information is like glossed over, right?
Yeah.
Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs is like one class, not a whole semester, like one class in the semester. And they talk about it, and then they're like, okay, it's.
I don't know. My professor spent a lot of time on it.
Yes, and your school spends a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
Because when I went to Kirsten's school, I was teaching, and they were calling out what the next level was, and I was like, that's never happened before. Some people are like, who's Maslow? And I was like, oh, darn. So I hope that was helpful. At least we now know where it comes from, and we could tell people, like, I'm not willing to have a child stagnant on tier 2 when there's 8, 9. How many tiers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because of me, a child is stagnant. Because I've messed up their emotional needs, stagnant on tier 2. Right? Do you feel how bad that is?
The person shouldn't be able to sleep.
I know, but some people don't know. They just are doing what they were told. Right? That's where a lot of strategies come from. I don't know, I just asked somebody in my school and they told me to do this. And then if they don't do it and they don't find success in doing another strategy, then they get in trouble for not using the strategy that was told to them. I'm not going to do the sticker chart, I'm going to do something else. And then when the something else doesn't work, they will guide you back to that sticker chart.
Or it doesn't work immediately.
Right, well, no strategy works immediately. Well, we know the one that does work immediately, right?
Yeah.
Hitting.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is they get told to go back to the old strategy because their strategy didn't work.
Yeah, right. No strategy works immediately. Otherwise, I'd call these all the Zoom workshops. I do Zoom with Meg. And you would just come here and I would just spout all the strategies I've ever used, and you would use them, and then they would work the first time. Hey, would any of you do, I was thinking, I have to start designing workshops because I'm running out, because I've done, I think, 3,000. Would anybody do question and answer sessions where you like have a question about kids or something, and then you ask the question and I answer it? Would people come to that? Yes, no?
The thing that I'm afraid of is that it's all videoed. And I'm afraid that it would.
Oh, yes. See, that's why I asked you guys, because of the video. So maybe I wouldn't video those.
Right.
It would just be professional development and it wouldn't video.
Right. That would be awesome.
Okay. So we like them if it's not videoed.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. I think a lot, yeah. And if you advertised it that way and said, I'm not question and answer without the video.
Yeah, confidential.
Yes.
Right. Because I'm hoping parents would come, and parents don't want to be, I wouldn't want to be on a video, right? Like, hi, I'm having a hard time. Please video it so everybody can know that I'm having a hard time. Yes, awesome. See, I knew you girls would be good give me good information. I didn't even think about the video part, to be honest. I just wondered if people would take over. You know how there's sometimes one person in a workshop that asks all the questions and can't, like, I'm good at like moving them on, but I'm going to try one and see what happens, non-videoing, and see if it works. Because I think a lot of people have questions and then don't know where to bring them. And I think that an hour of question and answers, everybody would get something out of it, I think. I'm going to try one.
We can all learn. We can all learn from different situations.
Yeah. What'd you say, Lisa?
You can try one and limit the amount of questions that they.
Yes, so that I was going to say, so it won't be videoed. Come with 1 or 2 questions. But if like 30 people come, some people are just going to, or you could just come to listen, right? You don't have to ask.
You could even have them email you the questions ahead of time.
Oh, see? I knew asking you girls. I knew it. Yes, questions ahead of time, no videoing. Got it. I better write that.
I think you can mute people. Can't you mute?
Like in the middle of their story. Oh, you are talking too much. Mute for you. I want to in my son's morning meeting. There's one little boy that's like blah 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 blah, and I'm like, he is not on mute, and I want to mute him, but it would be under Brennan's name, and you're not allowed to mute each other.
Oh.
And I was like, how does that not drive the teacher crazy? I would just mute him all the time.
You could say it was an accident.
Right. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to mute you because you were loud. I mean, you weren't loud. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
But Brennan's a rule follower, so he's like, Mommy, don't mute. You're gonna get me in trouble. That's what he says. So I have to like take deep breaths because it makes me crazy. All right, well, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send we got an hour and 10 minutes tonight. Woo woo! I'm gonna send you certificates, and I will see you. Oh, next week, what am I doing? Oh, mindfulness with Dan. No, Dawn. Ooh, Dawn. He was supposed to be here, actually. Mindfulness with Dawn. That's gonna be really funny. I think that'll be the funniest one because you're gonna watch my squirrels try to be mindful, which could be interesting. When do we go back to school? I already have 13 people signed up for that, and that's not till next Tuesday or Monday. What's the 5th? Monday? Tuesday.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's Cinco de Mayo. I think we get to drink all day. I think that's
there you go.
You know, yeah,
Yep.
good Corona.
Yeah, right.
Taco Tuesday.
You know that Corona beer sales went down 30%.
Yeah, I heard
One
that.
has nothing to do with the other.
No.
What is wrong with America?
Amazing.
Stop it.
Amazing.
Ugh. And then I'm doing project approach, curriculum stuff, and then I'm doing professionalism. And then I'm thinking of more. I have to look at my folder, see if I didn't do any yet. I guess I can't really redo them. I was like, well, I'll just redo them, but I tape them. Well, I age myself. I'm recording them, so I don't need to do them again.
And you offered that thing where you can do 2 hours of what we chose, what we wanted to do. I don't know how you sign up for that. You know how you can do the check off with 2 hours with Meg, and you picked something that you wanted to do?
No.
Yeah, it was on with Barbara. We got to pick a
yes.
2-hour
Those are
meeting.
webinars. So those are like not Zoom ones. Those are like webinars, like real life ones that I went, that like I was doing a workshop, like in person. You just tell Barbara you want to do all of them, and then I charge them the money and you watch them. At your school anyway, Kirsten.
Oh, we watched them? Oh, they're already done, you mean?
Yeah, they're already done.
Oh.
I think I
didn't know
sent
that.
you, tell me which ones on my website you want there. Yeah, you just click on it. I'll send you the link and I'll charge
good.
Barbara.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else want them? We'll charge Barbara. Just kidding. We'll get in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Hey, over here.
Else.
I checked them off, but she didn't tell me that.
I sent the links, but I don't know if she knew that they were
Okay.
already done.
Gotta go. Dad's calling.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, well, I'll contact Barbara then.
Yeah, or you could just tell me because you on the spreadsheet, she told me which ones you wanted, but I don't, and I sent them, but you didn't know what they were.
Yeah, it was children.
It's just there were 2-hour workshops of like, I videoed myself at an actual workshop. Like when I have like dress clothes on and there are people in the audience. And
Oh, wow.
I know, like for real life.
Yeah,
There you go, Meg.
for real life.
Yeah.
You can do one on how to dress professionally.
Oh, that is in professionalism, actually. I don't want to see inside any more yoga pants.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, well, isn't that one next week? Or
Yeah,
that
it is.
tomorrow?
Next Thursday.
Oh, next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to do them on Friday. That's I
Yeah.
don't have anything to do tomorrow. I say that now until I wake up and probably should clean
Think
my
of
house.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I thought it was the one that I wanted was something about kids and their different.
Oh, different temperaments?
Yes. Different
Yes.
temperaments.
I'll send it to you.
Good, because I have a granddaughter that's 3, and she is so difficult to deal with. She is the most difficult. She lives in Virginia. She's the most difficult child that I've ever taken care of. I mean, when I try to, with her behavior,
Mhm.
and if she does something and I try to get her to do something else, she'll look at me and just say, "Go back to New Hampshire right now." You
Oh.
know, oh yeah, she's quite the handful.
Yeah, that's feisty.
Yeah, she's very feisty, and I'll ask her to pick something up, and she'll put her little hands on her hips and say, "I don't have time for this right now," and she'll just turn around and stomp.
3.
Yeah, 3. You should see her.
I love her already. I love kids like that because they don't have like the part that is like, oh, I should do it. I should. I'll get in trouble. There are some kids that don't have any of that. They're just like, screw you.
She has none of it. She gets her father's in the Navy, and she'll say, "Daddy, come here right now," and she'll have him go into the laundry room, and she'll shut the door and say, "You know, you can spend your time in there right now. I have no time for you." She'll slam the door, and he's in the. She is such a handful. I've never seen a child like her in my life. Never. I mean, she is like, yeah. And I get all the tough kids.
Yeah, right?
Because I pull kids. I have 4th through 8th. I pull all the tough kids. I take kids that are 2 grade levels below and lower for reading every day. That's what I teach, reading.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the behavior kids all day long, every day at school. And this child, look at this. If you can see this child. Look
at that face.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's what
that face says it.
When she doesn't want to do something, that's what she gives me. She puts her little hands on her hips and she walks off and she doesn't do what she doesn't want to do.
It's really hard when they don't have the piece of like, I'm gonna get in trouble and I should be respectful.
Yeah.
When they don't have that, it's really hard.
She doesn't have it and she's not going to do it.
And her dad is in the Navy, and if he scowls at her, she'll scowl right back at him and stick him in the laundry room. She says, "You're stuck in timeout for 30 minutes," and he'll slam the door right in his face.
She is, I'm telling you. And
wow.
I've never, ever in my life.
Wow.
Ever. Yeah, she's my oldest daughter's daughter. My daughter will be 39 this year.
Yeah, she probably thinks she's hard too because she's got to live with her all the time.
Yeah, and you should see her at night time to go to bed.
Oh, I bet that's not good.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. She is like the nightmare child from.
Oh, a horror movie, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I go down there in the summer to watch her while my daughter's in school. It's like, oh my God, Nightmare USA.
Oh.
Yeah, she runs me ragged.
Yeah, sounds that way.
And there's 3 of them.
Oh, she's not an only one?
No, she's the middle child.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm telling you, she is, if I showed you videotapes of her, you'd be like, oh, she will be on a behavior plan the minute she gets to school.
Oh, yeah. Yep, they're going to use fear all over the place with her.
Yeah, and you can't.
But she doesn't care about it. She doesn't care about fear. Are you kidding?
No, nothing works. Nothing works.
She's excited to go to school.
Of course she is.
But you know what?
Because she's going to rule it.
Yes. Yeah, she will. And she won't be potty trained either, so good luck. She refuses.
Oh. Okay, well, I want to meet her because, see, people are like, oh, she's hard. And I was like, ooh, I want to play with her. That's just in me to be like, want to play with those kids.
She won't let you use any crayons.
One time we went to a playground and we were in this little house that had an open and closing door. And another girl tried to come in and she slammed the door in like a 2-year-old's face.
Oh, she didn't care. It was not her turn to go in the playhouse.
And she goes, "Stay out."
Oh, boy.
It's a really nice family. The problem is my daughter follows all the rules. Really nice family, really nice house. It's like, I don't know where she came from.
Oh, so 55% of who you are is heredity and genetics, right? So she just got the DNA just went that way. Yeah. And now you got to teach her to not to do that, but it's going to take a lot of time and patience.
Yes, yeah. And I've had patience with her for the last 3 summers, and it's like.
I know. As they get older and right when they're little, it's easier than when they're older for sure.
Yeah, well, if somebody doesn't, I told my daughter, I said, you got a behaviorist to come in for your dog. She had a behaviorist come in because her dog was naughty. It's like, you need to get a behaviorist in here for this child because you're not going to be able to handle her.
No. And she's doing that at 3. Imagine what 15 looks like.
Yeah.
Yikes.
3, 5.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and they live in Virginia. It's like, oh my God.
Oh,
you don't
goodness
have vacationing
gracious.
down in Virginia, do you?
No, we can Zoom though. I want to meet her. I want to meet her
Yeah,
on Zoom.
yeah. Oh,
Imagine
maybe.
she'd hang up on me in like 30 seconds. I am done with you. Beep.
She puts me on when I FaceTime her. She puts me on in the corner, and she'll talk to me from afar, especially if she doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh.
She'll put me in a closet. It's like, oh, okay, I'm done with you, Yaya.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love her.
Oh my God. Yeah, she's. But I love her. She's hysterical. But it's like I can't laugh.
Oh,
because
no.
Yeah.
No, that just eggs that on.
Oh yeah, so feisty. It's like, oh my God, I could write a book about her. Never in my life have I met a child like her, and I've been teaching a long time.
Right, and she's related to you.
I know, that's even worse.
So you have to love her to pieces.
I do, and I tell teachers stories about her, and their mouth drops.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you have a granddaughter like that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, some of it you can't help though. Some of it they just come out like that, and it has nothing to do with nurture. It has everything to do with nature.
Yeah.
And now you got to teach her to be on a different path, except that temperament is the hardest to teach that to.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God, she's like, isn't she? Oh,
Well,
God.
I'm going to bow out. Have a
Okay.
good weekend, everybody.
Yeah, we all can. Thank you again for being here. Put an
Bye.
hour and
Thank
you got an
you.
hour and 20. Put an hour and 20. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.